What's up, my friends? It's kind of interesting in that today I want to talk about something that we tend to talk about a lot, especially when it comes to spirituality and witchcraft and all those things, right? We tend to talk about karma. Karma is found in so many different places. Revenge is found in so many different places. So before we get started, I want you to just take a deep breath. Because we all just need a collective deep breath this morning, don't we? I want you to just take a deep breath, and I want you to just kind of settle into yourself for a minute. Just like with Reiki, just like with energy work, just like with anything, settling into yourself will allow you to fully receive whatever it is you need to receive. Whether it's energy, whether it's compassion, whether it's determination, whether it's something your soul needed to hear. And there are people that are called words healers. These people usually become speakers, writers. For those of you guys that don't know me, I have been a published author since 1996. I have written 204 titles, countless articles, white papers, etc. Words are my passion. And I want you to settle into yourself. I want you to take a deep breath, and I want you to settle into yourself, because some of the things that we're going to talk about today are things that I guarantee you are on your mind a lot. A lot. We're going to talk about karma, and we're going to talk about revenge. Not as a punishment or a cosmic threat. Not as, if you don't do this, you're going to get this. But as the natural balancing forces that hold the universe, that hold spirituality, that hold timelines, that hold everything together. People always say, not always, but I've heard a lot of people say, oh, the universe keeps score. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. And I know some of you right now, you agreed with when I said the universe keeps a score, and when I said no, it doesn't, you were like, yes, it does. No, it doesn't. It keeps the balance. Let that sink in a minute. The universe does not keep score. It keeps balance. And no matter what God, goddess, etc. you believe in, the universe is always going to be the higher power, the end all, be all of what that balance is. Because as we all know, it doesn't matter which pantheon you study. It doesn't matter which type of religion you study. Every god and goddess keeps a score, right? The universe doesn't. The universe keeps balance. Every single act, every single word, every single ripple of intention that flows out into the great beyond, the great weave of being, whatever you want to call it. Everything that flows outward has to find its equal tension to flow inward again. Karma is not punishment. Karma is not a reward. It's just the reflection of what you do, of what you say, of who you are. There's a quote from the Tao Te Ching. In the natural order of things, harmony is maintained through cause and effect. You know, if you speed, you're probably going to get a ticket. You know, if you drink too much, you're going to have a hangover. Cause and effect. You know, if you push yourself too hard exercising, you're going to be sore. Cause and effect. You know, if you hurt people, they will cut you off. Cause and effect. You know, if you are a good person and you put out good into the universe, that good will come back to you. Cause and effect. Karma is the physics of the soul. It's how the universe breathes. It's truth. And it exhales that correction. So if the universe breathes in something that's really negative, it has to breathe out something that's positive, right? If you breathe in oxygen, you have to breathe out carbon dioxide. It's balance. Every single thought that you have, every single deed that you do, those are seeds. You plant them as you go along throughout your day on a moment-to-moment basis. We don't even realize that we do it because we're so just in tune with our own life, with our own self. You might say, no, I'm not in tune with myself. You are. Stop trying to find where you need to retune yourself and just listen. Every time you do something, say something, etc., everything you put out into the universe will grow. They can grow into an amazingly beautiful flower like no one has ever seen before. Or they can grow into the biggest poison-dripped thorns that are impassable. Depends on you, depends on your intention. It isn't divine wrath. It's divine balance. And I know that some of you guys right now are sitting here thinking, yeah, well, I see this person and that person and this person and that person, that they do horrible things. I know this person over here is such a good person, they just have nothing but bad happen to them. My answer to those questions are usually one of two things. One is the thing that everyone hates to hear, including myself. When someone says this to me, I want to just punch bunny rabbits. You guys all know what I'm about to say. Everything happens for a reason. I know, calm down. The next thing that I usually say is, we as humans don't get to know what is written for our soul to do. Our soul knows, but we don't get to know in this lifetime. So when you look at some babies when they're born, you're like, oh, that is an old man right there. That is an old woman right there. Like, that is an old soul in that baby. And then that goes away. 6 months or a year goes away. About the time they start talking, right? You don't get to know what the universe has as far as balance. Does it make it fair in our minds? No, not at all. We see people doing horrendous things to people and getting away with it all the time. And we say, where is karma? Where is revenge? Where is balance in the universe? There's a deep human craving for revenge. A really deep human craving for revenge. Over this last week, my kid was obsessed with The Princess Bride. We watched it together. I love that movie. I could probably quote most of it. It was the first time my kid had seen it. And her favorite person now is Inigo Montoya. And I have heard that quote so much this week. And I'm not upset. I consider that a parenting win, okay? But if you have never seen that movie, you should watch it. It is a cult classic. It's an 80s classic, and it is one of the best movies ever. It's corny, and it's fantastic. And it has Carrie Elwes in it. And Mandy Patinkin. And Andre the Giant. I'm just saying. It's the movie that made me appreciate my square jaw. I'm just saying. Buttercup is phenomenally beautiful in that movie with her square jaw. I can't remember Robin's last name, but you guys all know who I'm talking about. But in the movie, after he finds the six-fingered man, he doesn't know what to do with his life because he's made a life out of seeking revenge, finding this one person and exacting revenge. And now that's done. There is a human craving for revenge. When we're wronged, when someone lies, when they betray us, when they hurt us, oh, our blood runs hot. I am a lot Irish. A lot Irish. It's taken me a long time to calm down that Irish temper. Because I 100% fit the stereotype when I was younger, especially when I was a teenager. I might not throw hands, but I will throw whatever is close to me, and I'm pretty damn good at it. There's a reason I played catcher in softball, because I could wing the ball wherever it needed to go. We'll just say that. But your blood runs hot. It boils. You get mad. I'm that person, when I get so mad I start laughing, you better hope there ain't something heavy next to me, because I'm going to throw it at you. If I get so mad that I start laughing, it's on like Donkey Kong. If I get so mad that I cry, it's on like Donkey Kong. But if I get so mad that I'm quiet, when your blood runs hot, you want justice. You want balance. You want it right now. You clench your teeth so hard that your jaw hurts for days. Revenge is the human imitation of karma. Think about that for a minute. Revenge is the human imitation of karma. It's our ego's attempt to do what the cosmos already does perfectly. I'm going to read you guys a couple of quotes. One is from Marcus Aurelius. Y'all know I love my quotes. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. How many times has somebody wronged you that was a friend, that was a family member, that was someone that you loved, someone you respected? They wronged you, they betrayed you, they did something that just utterly destroyed you. And instead of sinking to their level, you took the high road and you became more. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. And the next one is a quote that is one of my favorites. It is another quote from Buddha. And if you guys follow me for any length of time, you know that I do love me some quotes from Buddha. Because they make you really think about your life and think about things on a deeper level. I found this one right here in 2014 after I had lost my mom. And after my uncle sued my sister and I over my mom's estate for the $600 that she had in her bank account. Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. I'm going to read it again. Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to perish. Think about that just for a minute. Anger causes physical symptoms. Not just your face gets red, not just your blood pressure is high. It can cause physical symptoms. Revenge feeds the fire, karma cools the flame. How many times have you gotten so angry and you've done something stupid just out of revenge? Or you've done something really crafty out of revenge? And then karma came in on the side of the other person. The universe doesn't require a witness. It doesn't require a judge or a jury or an executioner, because it is every one of those things already. And this is going to be really, really hard to hear for some people, but the universe doesn't need you to take revenge on anyone. Does it mean that it's not still satisfying to put that bitch in a jar? Oh, yes, it is. You and I both know it is. Does it mean that you shouldn't put wards up to protect yourself? Does it mean that you shouldn't change the locks if someone has a key? Does it mean that you shouldn't do the things that you need to do to physically protect you and yours? Absolutely, you need to do those things. Does it mean that some people aren't karma embodied? Let that sink in a minute. If somebody cheats in multiple relationships, and maybe the last person they cheat on puts them in a jar, that they will get what they deserve. And the next thing you know, they have fallen in love with this perfect person. And they're getting married. And the person that put them in a jar is like, what the fuck? That isn't karma, what the fuck? Oh, just wait. They have this perfect marriage, this beautiful honeymoon, this amazing wedding, this beautiful house. And the person that made the jar is like, what the fuck? Just maybe 4 or 5, 10 years down the road, that this perfect person they found has been cheating all along. Does that mean that that person that's cheating on the cheater isn't their karma? Because they are. Let that sink in for a minute. Across every single tradition, it doesn't matter if it's Buddhism or Hinduism or Christianity or paganism, the teaching repeats itself. Whatever energy you put out will return to you. And some people like to quote Christianity and say, it returns tenfold. And some people like to quote Wicca, it returns threefold. It just returns. It just returns. It returns however much the universe feels that it needs to return. When someone lives in cruelty, when they live in violence, when they live in deceit, when they live in that hatred energy, the energy that sustains them also corrodes them. When you live in truth and grace and purpose and calm, that energy fortifies you. The universe doesn't punish. It balances. And that balance always arrives, even if time has to stretch to deliver it. There's an ancient Greek proverb that says, "The mills of the gods grind slowly but exceedingly fine." Just saying. But there is an important truth in all of this and what we're talking about today. Forgiveness is not the same as forgetfulness. And I know that I'm preaching to the choir about this. I do. I know that I'm preaching to the choir. But also I feel like some of us, all of us, need this as a reminder. Forgiveness is going to free your spirit from carrying that poison that you're hoping someone else drinks. You carry the poison of past situations, of past relationships, of past hurts, of past traumas. When you continually carry that, it's going to corrode you. But you don't have to forget how that poison tasted. Forgetting isn't required. Forgetting is dangerous. Let that sink in. I know you guys have heard this next quote, and it is one of my favorites because it fits in so many different areas of life. It fits in daily life, it fits in relationships, it fits in history. Those who cannot remember the past are doomed to repeat it. There are so many versions of that quote. All of them mean the same thing. Spiritually, you are allowed to remember every little thing. You are allowed to say, that person hurt me badly. You are allowed to say, that person lied. That person manipulated. That person destroyed my trust. That person, insert whatever here. Memory is a guardian. Memory is a ward. Memory is a wall, is a protectorate. It's how you learn patterns. It's how you protect your peace. It's how you honor all of those lessons that the universe brought you in the form of something really shitty. You can forgive someone's soul and still not allow them in your sacred circle. Boundaries are how we love ourselves while still loving others. So a quote from Brené Brown. Never let anyone shame you for remembering, because that's a big thing. And every single one of you has been shamed for trying to say, you know, you did XYZ. That's always a fun tactic to have pulled on you, isn't it? When you call someone on their bullshit and they either want to turn something around on you or they want to say, oh, you're remembering that wrong. That's not what happened. Never let anyone shame you for remembering the shitty shit that they did to you. To remember is not to live in a state of bitterness, it's to live in wisdom. And I know that some of you guys that are listening to this, you've been in a situation where you've been hurt really deep. By family, by friends, by a partner, by a spiritual leader. You've been manipulated. You've had gaslighting done to you at its finest. You've been broken down. You've been blamed. You've been destroyed. And people might have told you this thing. And this is something I hate to hear. It makes me want to punch bunny rabbits too. I'm not really going to punch bunny rabbits, y'all. Just forgive. Just move on. Fuck you. That's usually my instant response. So is my instant response to that. Spiritual maturity means understanding that forgiveness does not mean returning or remaining in harm's way. Now, do we all falter here and there? Here and there? Yes. Yes. Because sometimes we forgot that lesson. We forgot that lesson. And we needed a refresher course. You can forgive and still walk the fuck away. You can release resentment while closing every single door that leads back to that same abuse. Home Depot's down the street. You can go get every lock you need to get for those doors. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. It's a Maya Angelou quote. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. People will show you exactly who they are. All you have to do is listen. And I know that made no sense. You're like, oh, you just said they'll show you, but you got to listen. You got to watch. You got to listen. You got to pay attention. People will show you exactly who they are. Abuse distorts energy. It twists karma, because abuse means that free will gets distorted and corrupted by fear. That's what abuse is. Fear. When someone abuses power, the karmic scales begin to tilt violently. And though the universe sometimes moves slowly, it always moves. If you've been in that space, you aren't required to be kind to somebody who has done that to you. You are not required to be nice or kind to someone who has abused any part of you or your being. Let that sink in. Does it mean that you get a free pass to be cruel and hateful? No. But it does mean that you don't have to be nice to them. You are only required to protect yourself and to reclaim all of that sacred energy that you hold in your own space. That alone sends the ripple that resets the balance. So if that violence, if that tilt has gotten so bad that everything has been corrupted, that those karmic scales have been twisted in such a deep level, you stepping back and protecting yourself and reclaiming your own sacred energy is exactly the message to the universe that will reset those scales, that will untwist, untilt. To overcome evil with good is good. To overcome evil with evil is evil. It took me a long time to learn that I didn't need revenge on somebody. Don't think I don't hold grudges. I have too many Capricorn placements. I am the queen of grudges. I'm working on it. But it took me a long time to learn that I don't need revenge. As other people, as someone in the community, whatever community you want to be a part of, you have a responsibility as well. And that's to hold space for the wounded, even if you yourself are wounded. The spiritual family, the tribe, the circle, the coven, the church, you have a responsibility to the community as well. When someone in the community has suffered some form of abuse or betrayal or loss or hurt, it's our responsibility to hold space for that person, to just sit with them, to just be there without judgment, without rushing to heal them on our timeline, because it's not our timeline, it's their timeline. It's our responsibility to hold space for them. Love isn't rescue. Love is presence. There's an anonymous healer proverb that says, to hold space is to allow another to be exactly as they are without needing to fix them. Let that sink in a minute. Does it mean that when your best girlfriend goes through a breakup, y'all don't go out and have a good dinner and some wine and maybe go shopping and stuff? Hell no, go do that thing. I want to come, go do that thing. Does it mean when your best dude friend goes through a horrible time and just needs some bro time and y'all sit and play Battlefield 900 or whatever version is out now, or Call of Duty or whatever, and drink a few beers and have some pizza and just trash talk everybody online? Absolutely go do that thing. That's not trying to fix someone. That's just allowing them to be exactly as they are in that moment. Holding space is sacred work. And you don't have to be anointed or invoked to do it. Every one of you has held space for someone else. Maybe you didn't realize you were doing it, but you did. You do. You will. Standing beside somebody while they're facing their own hurricane and saying, man, I'm here. I'm not going to leave. I'm not going to abandon you. I'm here, man. That's holding space for somebody. If you have ever held someone while they cried after losing someone, you've held space for them. If you've ever just sat and stared off into the distance with someone while they just sat and stared off into the distance trying to process, you've held space for someone. You don't have to have these magic words that fix everything. You don't have to have advice. In fact, sometimes it's better that you don't. Your compassion is the alchemy. Your presence is the spell. You just being there in that moment is the transmutation. We're all karmic mirrors for each other. When we hold space, we lend our balance to those whose scales have been broken with pain. And that is also the work of the universe. That is also karma. You are karma more than you realize. We all are versions of karma, good and bad, more than you realize. Anger at a situation, anger at a person, anger at abuse is all logical and needed. Anger is a sacred fire. If it's misused, it will 100% consume something or someone. If it's guided, if it's transmuted, it will purify. When you've been wronged, don't suppress that fire. Channel it. Transmute it. Transmute it into art. Transmute it into purpose. Transmute it into protection, into wisdom, into a passion. Let karma handle all of the reckoning. You handle the becoming. Justice is not revenge, it is restoration. I'm going to say that again, and then I'm going to tell you what that quote is from. Justice is not revenge, it is restoration. That is a quote from the Book of the Dead. You aren't weak for wanting balance. And if anyone ever tells you that you are weak for wanting karma for something that was wronged, for wanting karma for somebody that is just a waste of space, trash bag human being, you are divine for understanding that you don't need to deliver it yourself. When cruelty is thriving in the world, when cruelty is thriving around you as it is right now, I want you to remember, karma has infinite patience. Energy will build, it'll converge, and when the time is right, it will return, it will be precise, it will be undeniable. It will be a tidal wave and a hurricane and a tornado focused into a laser beam. There's a Hindu proverb that says, karma moves through the universe like the wind, unseen but felt by all. Every action sends an echo into eternity, and every echo finds its way home. Your task is not to punish. Your task is to maintain the vibration. Set your boundaries, protect your light, walk in your own integrity. When you do that, you become a node of cosmic balance. You become a living embodiment of karmic truth. The universe will correct through you, not against you. Your enemy is not the person that harmed you. It is the darkness that grew from that harm. I'm going to read that again. Your enemy is not the person who harmed you. It is the darkness that grew from that harm. That is something I wrote last night. That is a Bodhi quote I did a lot of thinking last night about a lot of things in my life. About a lot of things in my life. Your enemy is not the person who harmed you. It is the darkness that grew from that harm. So I want you to keep in mind that you don't have to wish for karma. I'm not saying don't. But you don't have to. You are karma in motion right now. The energy that you live, the love that you live, the breath that you are in the universe is the energy that the universe uses to balance out itself. Those who harm other people, trust me, they'll face their own mirrors. Those who heal, they will expand beyond their own pain. Those who hold space become the bridges of balance for the entire world. Revenge is the fire that burns the hand that holds it. Karma is the sun that lights what it must and burns what it must. I'm going to read that one again, and I'll let you guess who wrote that. Revenge is the fire that burns the hand that holds it. Karma is the sun that lights what it must and burns what it must. I did a lot of channeling last night. I did some traveling on purpose for myself last night, just to sit in the void for a bit. I'm going to end this with the following benediction. May you remember without bitterness. May you forgive without surrendering your boundaries. May those who harmed you face their reflection in the waters of truth. May your heart remain open, but your circle remain sacred. May we all walk as instruments of balance in this vast and infinite universe. So mote it be. Namaste. Amen. And blessed be. I want you guys to all really think about everything with your day today. I would love for you to go spend some time and just sit. Even if it's just a couple of minutes, just sit. Stare into space. Stare at the rain or the clouds or the trees or your dog. Hell, stare at the TV mindlessly for a minute. We got a full moon coming up this week, and we all know what a full moon means. We all know what a full moon means. We all know. I love you guys. I'm always here. I'll always be here on Sundays for my Sunday sermon. I'll always be on Monday and Thursday at 8:30 Central for Reiki. I promise that you're not alone in your walk. I promise that you're not alone in the karmic balance of the universe. I promise. I hope you guys have a fantastic day.